welcome to News Central Television. I am Dapo Adegboye, and here are stories making headlines beyond the continent. We begin the news in Europe, where the United Kingdom Home Secretary James Cleverly signed a treaty with Rwanda in an attempt to overcome the legal block on the government's policy of sending asylum seekers to the African country. Under its provisions, anyone sent to Rwanda will be given permanent leave to remain there, even if their asylum application failed, according to 3 people briefed on the contents. Now, the treaty is intended to address the UK Supreme Court's ruling that the Rwandan policy is unlawful and paves the way for Cleverly to introduce emergency legislation at Westminster to try to revive the scheme. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously last month that asylum seekers removed to the East African country would be at risk of being sent back to their home countries without proper assessment of their claims, and also raised concerns that the nation lacked a proper appeals process. To make sense of this conversation, I'm joined by Godson, a political analyst and author. He joins from London. Thank you so much for your time, Godson.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Dapo, for being with you this evening from here in the United Kingdom. It's my great pleasure joining you again. Look forward to the discussion.
All right, great. Now, how would you assess the potential impact of the UK-Rwanda treaty on the overall asylum system and global refugee policies?
I would say that this is now becoming a very intense political debate, and though it has been going on for quite a while now, since this diplomacy was introduced in terms of exchange of asylum seekers deportation center to a third-party country in the last 3 or 4 years now, when the United Kingdom started negotiating on how to reduce the number of asylum seekers and refugees that are crossing into the United Kingdom, most especially with regards to the impact on the Brexit and the number of migrants coming into the UK, crossing illegally through the English Channel into the United Kingdom. And this has fueled a lot of in-house political debate in the House of Parliament, a divided opinion between the conservative hardliners and the conservative soft landing divide political elected officers within the Conservative Party and the Labour Party. But the fact here is that the renewed treaty is an issue that will not go down very well. People see the challenge with regards to the human rights aspect of all these whole transactions and discussions or negotiation between the Home Office, the Prime Minister, and the third party Rwanda, in order to see how they can accept the huge number of asylum seekers and refugees from UK and to be housed in a place in Rwanda while their cases are tried. And so the issue here is about being able to adhere to international human rights principles.
All right, Godson, let's talk about the key legal and ethical frameworks or considerations that should be taken into account when sending asylum seekers to another country.
The most important legal framework here is about being able to give a clear assurance that the asylum seekers and the refugees that are eventually, which I think may not be possible in the coming months or years, with regards to the legality of being able to overcome the human rights principles, both the European human rights and the international human rights, and even the United Kingdom human rights argument. And so when you look at the people are still wondering, does Rwanda have a clear legal tenacity to be able to assure the immigrants or the asylum seekers or the refugees a fair hearing, a fair case study, a well guided assessment of their arguments in terms of identifying that one is actually in danger of being prosecuted by the country of origin and not being able to return back to his or her country of origin. And as such, if Rwanda is not able to guarantee a fair, transparent, and accountable process of processing or handling the case file of some of these asylum seekers, who mostly are most likely going to be some Africans, asylum seekers who are here, or a couple of Middle East refugees that flew challenges in Syria, in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and also probably a lot of those who are also fleeing from Palestine, the Middle East, with the Gaza crisis. And so these people being taken to a country, a third-party country where they have no connection to, they have no links to. Is there any assurances from the government of Rwanda that their cases will be handled properly, that those who will represent them legally in Rwanda would be fair, honest, and sincere?
Now, talking about fair, Godson, talking about fair, how do you see this treaty influencing future policies and practices in other countries facing similar challenges, particularly in managing asylum seekers? I mean, we're pressed for time. I would appeal if you can, of course, give us a response in 30 seconds.
I think this is going to be a very disturbing precedent if this treaty is allowed to go through. I believe in trying to find a reasonable and a very assured way of holding back asylum seekers and refugees in the UK and treating their case in a country where they feel that there is a clear understanding of human rights practices and observation than taking them to a third-party country where the human rights situation or the legal framework in those countries are not 100% assured. Like you said, like it's been said, it is also mitigated. It's also been mentioned there that the UK is going to be sending certain number of legal experts, lawyers from the UK, to Rwanda to handle those cases. So that means there's a little bit of a breach in the whole process, because if they are sending lawyers to Rwanda to be able to handle some of these cases on behalf of the asylum seekers or the refugees, it means that they still don't have, the UK still yet in reality and in honesty have 100% trust in the legal framework or legal processes in Rwanda, but are looking for a soft landing ground where they can actually house a huge number of migrants, or huge number of asylum seekers and refugees. What this whole thing is going to happen is, if it goes through, countries like Germany will follow, countries like France will follow in, and like someone said, this is a new modern way of cash for human. What we're doing here is trying to kind of introduce a new human slave trading.
Okay. All right, Godson.
If the United Kingdom is paying a Rwandan government to be able to hold people that the UK should be treating their cases right here in the United Kingdom, and I'm telling the Rwandan people, look, we want you to house these people on our behalf. We pay you for housing them. We pay you for taking care of them. But what is the implication of this? The implication of this is that a lot of countries will see the benefit of trading with other African countries that are weak, that are being influenced by international consequences, and then begin to see how they can use them as a soft landing spot to export the excess number of refugees and migrants in their country.
All right, Godson, I'm sorry, I might just need to cut in here because we're pressed for time, but we appreciate you being on the news. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, my pleasure.